All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. If you need a roof, make sure you call Ireland Contracting. They're the best in the business. 1-800-NEW-ROOF is their number. They can do everything, not only roofs. They do windows, they do gutters, they do siding. They do just about everything, and that's why they're #1 in Pittsburgh. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Give us a call right now on the Borders and Borders hotline. 412-575-2600 is the number. Some sad news to pass along today. Gabe Rivera, Steelers' former first-round draft pick, passed away at a hospital in Texas today at the age of 57. Ron, I know you were around here, and you probably covered the Steelers at the time, and you covered him being drafted. And
I talked to him after the fact, yeah. You know, no one complained about the draft pick. He was picked in 1983 with the Steelers' number 21st overall pick. They had Terry Bradshaw left at quarterback, even though he was winding down. They had Cliff Stout. They had Mark Malone. They passed on Dan Marino. Now, there were questions here about Marino's character and some of the things he was doing at Pitt. I don't know if they were true or not, but they backed away from him because of that. He ended up going to Miami, and it was the best thing that ever happened to him. Darrell Green was also drafted right after Marino, and he's one of the greatest corners in history. But the Steelers looked at Rivera as a chance to build another dynasty, if you will, with a defensive lineman. They did it with Joe Green in Chuck Noll's first draft, and I'm not saying Rivera would have been as good as Green, but he was highly regarded. Senior Sack was his nickname. Unfortunately, midway through his first season, he was out drinking on a Friday night, ended up in an accident, got paralyzed. You know, obviously, he has to take some responsibility for that. Some unfortunate luck, if you will. We saw Ryan Shazier get hurt in Cincinnati last year. He's still going to be walking one day, still walking now. Rivera never got out of that wheelchair from 1983. A sad story. Who knows how it would have turned out. I always admired how he lived his life. He didn't feel sorry for himself, much like Shazier isn't doing. Tried to do some good, you know, educate people on the mistakes that he made. I don't remember anyone complaining about the draft pick, even though Dan Marino was available. And it's just unfortunate luck and some own doing on his part that he ended up in a wheelchair. Very sad story. And, you know, my understanding, I'm not a doctor, when you have those kind of horrific injuries, I think it shortens your lifespan. And he only lived to be 57. So sad. So
young, too. And, you know, we ran a piece earlier today on KDKA-TV News. We're going to run it again tonight. Bob did a piece, interviewed him a couple years ago. I know Ed Bouchette talked to him
in May,
just recently here
about Shazier.
And Rivera admitted to Bob that he had an alcohol problem in college. Maybe that was something that the Steelers didn't know when they drafted him at the time.
Well, I mean, you know, they're young guys. A lot of young guys go out, and unfortunately, he was in a very bad accident on Babcock Road in Babcock Boulevard in Ross Township. He got thrown out the back of his vehicle. I don't think his seatbelt was on. I just remember covering it. I remember getting a call in the middle of the night. You got to come in and work. Gabe Rivera's been in a serious automobile accident. I'll never forget it. And obviously it ended up to be a very sad story. Thankfully, nobody else was killed in that crash, as my memory serves. Who knows what kind of player he would have been.
Unfortunately, yeah, we don't know that. I mean, but like you said, you bring great perspective on it, that no one was complaining at the time, even though we can look back and say, hey, why didn't they draft Dan Marino?
How about Darrell Green?
Yeah, I mean, or Darrell Green.
Darrell Green went 28, Marino went 27. I mean, Darrell Green's one of the 5 best cornerbacks of all time.
I know. I was just watching the 30 for 30 on that draft and the quarterbacks, and Elway to
Marino was the 7th pick of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe that.
Tony Eason went ahead of him. Todd Blackledge went ahead of him. Obviously, you had Hall of Famers in John Elway and Jim Kelly ahead of him, but my goodness. The best thing that ever happened to Marino, though, was getting out of this town.
And they even talked about it in the 30 for 30 documentary, how Mr. Rooney wanted him to get out of the city because he thought it would be bad for him if the Steelers drafted him.
He goes to South Florida and ends up, you know, I always like to compare it, Rich, to he's Mario Lemieux of South Florida. He's that big down there. Everywhere you go, there's a children's hospital named after him, roads named after him, schools named after him. He's the Mario Lemieux of South Florida, which is remarkable tribute to him because he never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
only played and won.
I still think I mean, I would put him in my top 3 quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Well, let's go out to Mark out in Washington. How you doing, Mark?
Hi, guys. Hope you guys are doing all right.
Doing fine.
Yep.
Good. Not a question, just an opinion. Well, how do you guys feel about like the average Pittsburgh fan about Le'Veon Bell? I mean, do you think that the average fan wants him around? I mean,
I sense people are glad he's not going to be around, and I think that's a bad mistake. I wish he was going to be around. I get it why people don't think that he's going to be worth that kind of money. Obviously, the Steelers do. I do. But I'm going to enjoy him here for one more year. But in fact, I wrote about this in the PG tomorrow. I'm shocked at the animosity towards him. Like, people call him greedy, say, he's not worth it. Well, that's fine. I mean, but you're not walking in his shoes. No, we can't relate to the money he can't. He's getting turned down. I know Rich might, because he's in that kind of category. But
Pop is.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm certainly not. And I mean, I would have taken it in a heartbeat. But I'm not him. It's his life, his decision. I respect it and actually admire his conviction in this.
Yeah, and I keep saying it. I'm surprised the Steelers even offered him that much.
Because
he's definitely worth it.
Yep.
Yeah, he's definitely worth it. And but when you look at it, and it's hard for us to be in his shoes, just like you say. When you look at it, what's the difference between $70 and $80 million at that point when you get up to there? Well, it's $10 million. That's a lot.
That's how those guys keep score. You know that.
Yeah, and I actually think, and I don't know if you think this, but I think it has a lot to do with, hey, Antonio Brown got this, and Le'Veon
Pride
Bell's
involved,
under that.
the ego involved, absolutely. And can you argue he's more valuable than Antonio? Antonio touches it 7, 8, 10 times a game. The best wide receiver in the history of the franchise for me. One of the best in the history of the game. But, I mean, Le'Veon touches it 30 times a game maybe. You can argue he's more important.
Yeah, they started playing better when he started to get into a rhythm there in Week 5 last year. So, yeah, you could definitely argue that he's the MVP of the Steelers. All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls. We got Rich, Mike, and Howard on deck right now. Coming up next, 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in 2 minutes.